are indeed interesting times for the people of Ghana as they mark the 50th anniversary of their nation's independence. Like most modern developing countries, Ghanaians have had to grapple with the challenges of nation building, erecting a modern economic infrastructure, as well as building democratic institutions that can stand the test of time. There have been many bumps along the way, of course, but on the whole, it has been a half-century of steady economic progress, inter-ethnic harmony, peace, and freedom, a combination that few countries in Africa, or in the world for that matter, can boast of. The exuberance and patriotic feeling with which Ghanaians celebrated their country's Golden Jubilee anniversary can be understood in the light of the many achievements that have over the years marked Ghana out as a star among African nations. The theme of the 50th independence celebrations, championing Africa's excellence, is an eloquent testimony to the journey as a country whose political and cultural influence across the continent and the world at large is far out of proportion to its relatively small size. Its flag, which sports the red, yellow and green colors of Africa's emancipation from foreign domination, also features the black star, symbol of Africa's ascendancy among the larger family of mankind. A nation of about 22 million people, the Republic of Ghana, formerly known during the colonial times as the Gold Coast, gained independence from Great Britain on the 6th of March 1957. It was the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to shake off the yoke of colonial rule. Its first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, whom Ghanaians reverently call the Osagyefo, was one of the leading lights in the struggle for independence, along with the other great nationalists like Dr. J.B. Dankwa and Justice Edward Akufo-Addo. Inspired in its student days by the epic struggle of African Americans for equality, civil rights and dignity in the United States of America, Dr. Nkrumah fired the imagination of his countrymen and women with the ideal of freedom as a necessary stepping stone to prosperity and greatness. One of his most memorable quotes was, "Seek ye first the political kingdom, and all other things shall be added unto you." He was also a great proponent of Pan-African unity and one of the founders of the Organization of African Unity, OAU, now known as the African Union, AU. Following Dr. Nkrumah's overthrow in 1966, Lieutenant General Joseph Ankara became the head of state. He was followed by Lieutenant General Akwesi Afrifa, after which a brief period of civil rule saw Dr. Kosi Busia take over the reins of government. He was deposed by the military in 1972. General Ike Acheampong became the next head of state. A palace coup in 1978 brought General Fred Akufo to power, before he too was deposed the following year by a group of junior officers led by Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings. After only 3 months in power, the Rawlings regime organized elections and handed over power to a civilian government led by President Hila Liman. Rawlings seized power again in December 1981 and ushered in another period of military rule that lasted until 1992, when he transmuted into a civilian president. This followed the democratic elections of that year. He won a second term in office in 1996. Following his retirement, the current president, John Kufuor, took office in 2000. It is remarkable to note that in spite of the political instability of the military years, independent Ghana has never fought a civil war in its 50-year history. This is no mean feat at all for a continent that has been plagued by conflict and monumental humanitarian tragedies for most of its post-independence history. This is due perhaps to the orientation imparted into Ghanaians by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, which emphasizes the unity of all black people in Africa and in the diaspora, an orientation which leaves no room for small-minded tribal sentiments. Or perhaps it is because Ghanaians have, for better or worse, always strive to live up to the ideals of freedom and justice as enshrined in their national coat of arms. The feeling of good fortune and pride in being Ghanaians pervaded the air everywhere in the country, especially in Accra, the capital city and focal point of the Golden Jubilee celebrations. The streets and thoroughfares of Accra were a blaze of colors as the national flag hung proudly from every imaginable location, moving on stationery. Public buildings and private residences, trees and metal poles all sported the red, yellow and green colors. Vehicles formed a mobile canvas on which the Ghanaians expressed their joy at this occasion. Huge billboards were not left out at all, and for some of the celebrants, the national colors were very good materials for body art and tattoos. It was indeed a nationwide carnival to celebrate a remarkable journey by a unique country whose lively and friendly people are united by a common destiny. For Ghanaians in the diaspora who came from far and wide to take part in these celebrations, and friends of Ghana, it was time to reconnect with the land that symbolizes so much of what is positive about Africa. The Independence Square in Accra, venue of the grand anniversary celebrations, was filled to capacity as the formal celebrations commenced. The occasion was graced by dignitaries traditional rulers from all over Ghana, as well as world leaders and envoys from around the world. These included Nigeria's President Olusegun Obasanjo, for Kofi Annan, the immediate past Secretary General of the United Nations and a quintessential citizen of the world. It was an occasion to reconnect with his proud Ghanaian heritage. The kente cloth, Ghana's national attire, was very much on display around the arena, as if in a subtle competition with the red, yellow and green national colors for dominance. The atmosphere around the city of Accra was no less charged, as groups of roadside entertainers added color to the occasion. There were a series of impressive parades by different detachments of the Ghanaian military and paramilitary forces. A special highlight of the occasion was a colorful parade by a visiting delegation of Scottish bagpipers, complete with their trademark kits. The arrival of the President, His Excellency John Kufuor, into the arena elicited loud cheers from the crowd. Riding in an open motorcade, the nation's first citizen acknowledged cheers from his countrymen and women and savored the historic significance of the moment. The lighting of the anniversary torch by the President signaled the commencement of the anniversary program. distinguished guests and the crowd were later treated to a thrilling calisthenics display by young school children. There's also a parade by Ghanaian armored vehicles. And a brief display by the Ghanaian Air Force, which drew an applause from the crowd. This is followed by another parade, this time by United Nations vehicles. It is interesting to know that Ghana has been one of the biggest contributors to the work of the United Nations and around the world, most notably its leading role during peacekeeping missions in countries such as Lebanon and Cambodia, as well as Dr. Annan's meritorious stewardship as Secretary General of the United Nations, a post which he held for 10 years. In fact, his lifelong work for the world body earned him a Nobel Peace Prize in 2001. President Olusegun Obasanjo delivered a goodwill message on behalf of his brother African heads of state and government, and also conveyed the good wishes of the Nigerian people to their Ghanaian brothers and sisters.
There's no miracle in development, but there is need for a near oracle for development to happen. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is noteworthy that 50 years after Ghana blazed the trail of political emancipation for our continent, the President of the Republic of Ghana, my brother and compatriot, is today the Chairman of the African Union. My dear Ghanaian brothers and sisters, as we celebrate this day, I wish to challenge you to committedly partner with the national leader of this country in the quest to rekindle the spirit of the glorious blessings Black Star across the African skies once again. Your Nigerian brothers and sisters and the rest of your brothers and sisters in Africa are willing and waiting to march hand in hand with you as we embrace Africa's glorious dawn together. May Almighty God continue to bless the Republic of Ghana. May God continue to bless Africa. May God continue to bless each and every one of us.
In his own address, President John Kufuor paid tribute to the sacrifices made over the years by past national heroes and other ordinary citizens of Ghana for the attainment of the most cherished aspirations of the Ghanaian people. He called on his compatriots to rededicate themselves to the ideals of the nation's founding fathers.
Today is the high point of the year-long celebration of Ghana's 50th independence anniversary, and I ask you to join us to thank the Almighty God for having brought us this far. On behalf of Ghana, And on my own behalf, I also wish to thank all of you, colleague presidents from around the continent of Africa, and you, the foreign dignitaries from outside Africa, and all your delegations for coming to join us to celebrate our big day. Ghana appreciates it. I'm sure you will agree with me that this is a celebration not only for Ghana, but also for the whole of Africa. The African on the continent, who for centuries had been violated and subjugated through the slave trade and colonialism, on that fateful day succeeded in breaking asunder the chains of bondage. Today, therefore, is as much Ghana's celebration as it is for the rest of Africa. Today, I must pay homage to the first president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and his colleagues of the United Gold Coast Convention, who in 1947 launched the last phase of the process towards independence. But even as we celebrate, we must not become complacent, but keep on striving towards achieving excellence. Thus, as we reach one milestone, we must aim higher. As we achieve one goal, political independence, economic prosperity, a literate population, a longer and healthier lifespan, peace and self-respect on our continent, we must raise our sights even higher. Our destiny is with the most advanced in the human community, and we must pursue it. Long live Ghana, and long live Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
There were more parades. After which the proud cultural heritage of the Ghanaian people was once again on display in the form of traditional performances. The drummers and dancers brought the 50th anniversary celebration of Ghana to a close on a high note. After a thoroughly satisfying ceremony, the crowd continued their festivities elsewhere in the city of Accra. At the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, young people, representing the future of this dynamic nation, converged around the monument and graveside of Ghana's first president. As they mingled and celebrated the special day in the nation's life, it was easy to discern that they are ready to carry forth the dream of peace, prosperity, justice, and freedom for Africa's Black Star into the next 50 years. This with vigor and determination. After all, they have the legacy of the Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to pawn the way forward. There's no denying the enthusiasm of the Ghanaian people of all ages and social classes as they share their feelings on that historic occasion with the BC Olatile show.
Yes, I'm happy to be alive as Ghana is 50. Oh, I wish everybody well, and I hope we all must unite so that we can work very hard to support our mother Ghana.
I feel very happy to be alive. I thank God for it, because in 1957 I was alive when Ghana got independence. By the grace of God, I have lived to see the 50th anniversary. So I would want to advise my people to be patient and to trust in God. And if we trust in God, I think we will go long ways, yes.
You know, being here is like a homecoming. You know, I actually wanted to see Ghana's independence for myself, and to see how Ghana was connected to all of all of African countries' independence, because it was the first. So being here is kind of a homecoming, and you know, I would just like to say that, you know, Nkrumah, while he was at Lincoln University, was mentored by Nnamdi Azikiwe, and in fact, they taught the first Black history class at Lincoln University. And if you ever get an opportunity to go to Lincoln University, they have one building named after Nkrumah and Nnamdi Azikiwe. So, you know, being here is kind of taking part in both traditions, the Nkrumah tradition and also the Nnamdi Azikiwe tradition. You can't have one without the other. So, you know, I'm just proud.
There's no better feeling, you know, than being at home. There's no better sense of peace than being at home. We, in the United States, there's this constant feeling of a void, that you're missing something, you know, that there isn't that peace of mind and peace of heart. And as soon as we got off the plane, it was like, whoosh, like you've returned. And I can't be any more thankful. And so my experience here has been thoroughly wonderful.
I wish all Ghanaians to take this opportunity and see how Ghana has struggled for independence, and then carry on from here, because the future is so bright.
I feel good. I feel very great, and I feel very honored to be alive. I feel very proud to be a Ghanaian.
We are wishing them very well, and hope that we'll see another 50 years.
With a sense of history, it's a great day. And to remember that Africa, the first African country south of the Sahara to get independence from the British, this was setting the pace for all of us, including Nigeria, all other countries. I sincerely pray that we reflect deeply on this day and the way forward for us.